Hiya. Well, I can't remember the last video I did, and I still didn't even look before I'd done this, but anyway, here I am. Obviously I'm not pregnant no more because I'll be way overdue. I did go overdue. I went overdue by 10 days, and it was the longest 10 days of my life. Oh, I was fed up, I was tired, I was hurting even more. I was emotional, and it felt like it was never going to happen. And it was really weird. It was like my due date came and went, and then a week passed, and I was just like, this is never going to happen. I've missed my chance to meet my little girl. And I know that's totally like really, really weird to think that it wasn't going to happen. That's it, it's done. But I don't know, that's how I felt. I'd missed her, and I was very, very emotional, and I had 3 membrane sweeps, which were all failed because my cervix was so far back. They couldn't even feel to see if I was dilated. Well, they could get the slightest bit of fingertip in, which wasn't dilated. And then I was booked in for an induction at 42 weeks, and that's when I seen the light at the end of the tunnel. I didn't want to be induced, but at least I knew that's when I was going to see my little girl. And then the cat always meows when I make a video. You're probably thinking, why are you talking to yourself? And then on the 16th of June, 4 days before my induction, I went into labour at 5:30 in the morning. And it felt like it should have been progressing really quickly, because at about 9:30 I was getting contractions every 3 minutes, and they were getting more and more painful. The hospital says leave it off as long as you can because first pregnancies, labours can go really, really slowly. I was like, right, okay. 11:30 my waters broke. I was in bed like withering in pain, and they just broke. Got a lift up to the hospital. I was only 2 centimetres dilated. The baby had made a bowel movement inside of us, so they kept us in to monitor me, and the baby obviously. But I just seemed to be progressing really, really slowly, and the pains intensified, and I was like the Exorcist. And I ended up having contractions 2 at a time with about a minute apart each, and I was so set on not having an epidural, and I felt like such a failure for even thinking about it. I'm getting emotional thinking about it now. But even midwife was practically begging us to have one, and then I felt not so bad. Oh my god, I'm sorry. But these contractions were coming like a minute in between and 2 at a time. It felt like death. And she was like, this could go on for another 10 plus hours. You should really get an epidural. And I was like, okay. And then they were getting worse and worse and worse, but like before I got the epidural, and I was in so much pain. It was like, people say, whatever you're expecting the pain to be like, multiply it by so much. And I had done that, and that pain was worse. And I'm really good with pain, and that scared us, it really scared us. And I ended up asking for a C-section, which they wouldn't give us. And they gave us the epidural, which worked really quickly. And I was like a changed woman. Like Rob, he was like, afterwards he was saying you were like the Exorcist. You were like withering around in pain, making all these faces and noises. And then he went out for a cigarette, and he come back, and he says you were like a changed woman. You wouldn't even think you were in labour, making jokes and stuff, but I didn't like the idea of it, but I did it. I had to. And then, what was it? 11:30 I was 2 centimetres dilated. That's when I got to the hospital. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon I was only 3 centimetres dilated after all these 2 at a time contractions, and they were like, this isn't progressing, would like to speed things up a bit. So I was put on a drip to do that, which didn't work until much later on. Well, didn't start to work till much later on, and then it did, and then I think at about 6 or 7 o'clock I was about 5 centimetres dilated, and then I started feeling pressure, a lot of pressure, and so I was getting a little booster on the epidural. At about 10 o'clock in the evening, the pressure was unbelievable. They checked us, I was 8 centimetres, and then within about half an hour this pressure out my body was pushing, and they were saying, don't push, you're going to damage it, you're going to make your cervix swell and whatever, and it's going to be harder. My body was pushing, I could not stop it at all, and I was trying, I was hanging on, and I hung on for about 45 minutes. I hung on. In the end I couldn't hang on, and it actually felt like I was making the bowel movement, and I was like, can you just check please, it feels like something's just sliding out. And they checked and they were like, oh my god, there's the head. And they weren't going to check me for dilation for another couple of hours because they weren't expecting it. And I was just like, oh my god, so I can push, and they were like, yes, push on your next contraction. So I did. 8 minutes and she was out. Like, even when they say hold it back, when the head's there so you don't tear, my body wouldn't let that happen. She come flying out. I tore in 3 places, but it wasn't so bad. They healed quite well, and my little girl's here. At 11:25 on the 16th of June. I'm going to put a couple little pictures in just to show you like a first day and whatever, and then I'm going to make another video with a proper update of her being here. Really, she's 5 weeks now, 5 weeks and 1 day, and it's flown so quickly, and I just want to put a pause button on her and like just experience these little moments more. But anyway, I'm going to finish off now because it's getting really long, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.